Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. That guy's Tim, and this is the Second Legacy, and thank you for stopping by. Today, we have got to show you guys how amazing the Biden administration is on crime reduction. Attorney General Merrick Garland is doubling down, and I'm going to give you a fair warning. There's a small chance in the future there's going to be some sarcasm and pretty good humor on this analysis. Let's break it down. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And with that, Tim, are your sarcasm muscles ready?
I'm ready to go.
Because I think this is it. I think there is a slightly good chance of meatballs and sarcasm reigning right now. So what would you do, Tim, if I told you, and how comfy would you feel if Attorney General Garland made an announcement, and in that announcement, he said, we are doubling down with new initiatives to combat violent crime? How would you feel?
I would feel it's April 5th. We're heading into an election cycle.
It's not the first.
This coming November. And it certainly sounds to me, because, I mean, gosh, we just recently did a video talking about Al Sharpton saying, hey, look, violent crime's down. You've done a great job getting violent crime down. Violence is down across the board, and you've done a really good job. I want to pat you on the back. But how are we going to deal with this rising crime rate? I mean, it's
exactly.
They're out there telling everybody there's nothing to see here. But we go into an election cycle, and all of a sudden, oh, my gosh, we got to double our initiatives. Well, that's funny. Exactly. You're doubling your initiatives in April, just months before an election. And we didn't have this discussion 3.5 years ago. Suddenly, 6 months before the election, we got to do something.
It's so weird.
Odd.
It's odd. It's odd. Odd is the word. So I'm glad personally that they're doubling down from zero, because wouldn't that still make it zero?
Yes.
Just being honest.
We're going to do nothing times zero, or times two. Yeah.
We're going to do nothing. Yes. So, and of all places, he's going to Chicago to tout this, dude.
I know.
I mean, Attorney General, this is 15. Attorney General Merrick Garland visited Chicago Wednesday to highlight decreases in violent crime around the country and announced the surge of investments and resources that he said will be aimed at doubling down on recent progress by law enforcement and their local partners.
They're shifting the narrative a bit. They realize the moronic position they had just yesterday. No, we're just going to continue the downward trend of by doubling down 6 months before an election, because everybody in Chicago's PO'd at the leadership.
Yes,
that's why I wound up in Chicago, because outside of Chicago, crime is going down. In Chicago, it's still a free-for-all.
Chicago, New York, San Diego, all these cities that are leftist run are really going through the crapper because of woke ideologies. But no, we're doubling down and doubling up on the efforts to double the crime. So I think that you brought something up that is so important for the beautiful people of Second Legacy to understand. Zoom out for a minute and look at what they're actually trying to do with this. They spent 3 years telling you that crime didn't exist. That was just a figment of the marketing of the Republican National Committee. That was those evil Republicans trying to say how bad things are when it was so amazing. Then, all of a sudden, what is it? It's April, to your point, a couple months before a national election where the demon himself could be reelected, Orange Man bad. Now, all of a sudden, we are going to double down to achieve and double up the crime reduction, of which the crime never existed. But because it never existed, we're going to double down on it to get more double-dim returns, even though it never existed. So we're solving the crime that never existed, but we are doing something to resolve the crime. It is the stupidest.
And why didn't he?
You can't make
Why didn't he go to San Francisco and say, we're investing in plastic covers for every single product in this store? Because every time I get on social media, there's another video of a store being looted, because places like Chicago, San Francisco, New York, they've passed laws making it so criminals are enabled to go do these things. And they're just walking in, literally cleaning out stores. Walgreens, CVS, all these companies in San Francisco and these other far left bastions of liberalism, they're closing their stores because the crime and the theft is so bad. But here he is talking about, we're going to double down our initiative on stopping violent crime that is non-existent, but we're going to double down on it because, I don't know, like to your point earlier, I mean, it's just like, they couldn't be more tone deaf and out of touch with what's going on in the world. They just couldn't be.
They just think we're stupid. They think we're stupid, to be quite honest. It boils down to, this will work for the next 6 months, and then we'll go right back to woke policies. It really is idiotic. But the thing that I think is important to note on this, Tim, is what's truly happening on a societal level. They've lost control of the ability to filter what does and does not get seen. So like Twitter, they lost the ability to control it. So now you're seeing all the crime that's going out, all the insane actions, all the insane activities that are happening in blue bastions, and they've lost control of the narrative because the media isn't choking it out.
Yep.
So people are developing their perceptions based around what is reality in actual crime clips, and they're going, this is awful, and they're comparing it to their own lives and what they see, and it's confirmation bias. So they're getting confirmation of what they're seeing, and they can't have that, so they got to put out contradicting narratives. It is, man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
But we've got numbers.
They don't seem to be all that interested in actually dealing with crime. And a lot of these, like what I was talking about earlier with San Francisco. I mean, all these major retailers are leaving the city. Oakland, San Francisco, they're bailing. And what's going to happen when all the grocery stores, all the pharmacies are closing down, all the restaurants are closing down? What do you think the people are going to do in that particular community, the violent ones? They're going to become more violent.
It's mean capitalism.
Right. They're going to start taking from each other.
Capitalism's bad.
Right. The violence will escalate. They're creating a perfect environment for crime to grow. But they don't even want to talk about that. And they just want to talk about guns.
No, can't talk about that. But listen, though, and this is where ABC had a salient moment. Listen to this. 17. Garland's comments come in an election year when violent crime is a major campaign issue and one that Biden's opponent, former President Donald Trump, has attacked him on. While violent crime is dramatically falling, Trump and other Republicans have criticized the president over his handling of crime, often mentioning several high-profile crimes that are alleged to have been committed by immigrants who crossed the southern border illegally.
Oops.
So you're trying to give cover, but you just kind of also said the problem.
Oops.
It's like, well, whoops.
The editor missed that one.
Whoopsie deedles. Yeah. But I have a few more reasons that we're going to culminate in around this. 78 million of them, to be specific. All right. Let me show you one more thing, and then we're going to get to it, because he did credit the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act.
Of course he did.
This is 18. Of course you got to. The big law that did nothing but did everything. In remarks at a conference for federal grantees, remember that, Garland pointed to statistics showing that last year the U.S. saw the largest one-year decline in homicides in half a century, including a 13% decrease last year in Chicago, completely, of course, ignoring the fact that it was last year and Biden was in control. He credited the progress in part to the Biden administration's implementation of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which had basically $250 million in it. And now the payoff, Tim, I'm sure you would have never seen this coming, ever, effing ever. In the speech Wednesday, Garland, remember the whole grantees thing? Garland said $78 million of those funds would be made available to applicants beginning Wednesday, and those funds will go directly to organizations like those represented in the room. Wow!
The gun banners.
Yeah. $78 million to remember me when it comes to election time, baby.
Yeah.
It's just so gross, dude. Oh, I'm going to lie to you, and you're going to clap so you get the $78 million.
Yeah, and going back to the Safer Communities Act, which you keep touting is the most comprehensive gun control in the last 30 years. What were their numbers? It stopped 200 people from getting a gun.
Maybe, yeah, I think it was 200 people were stopped overall, according to federal statistics, amongst millions purchased.
Yeah, millions purchased. So we're talking about 0.00001%. But hey, it was the most comprehensive gun control we've ever passed, but we need more. I mean, I think they even see that. This is the most comprehensive legislation. This is going to save lives, but it's just one small step.
It's a good baby step, and it's not all that we wanted, but it's something, but it's also weak, but it's not everything, but it might be good. It's the greatest thing. Biden's amazing, but we need more because we didn't do anything yet.
And they got beat over the head with it's done absolutely nothing. And so they went out there and scrounged up 200 instances where they said, oh, but look. Yeah.
Look.
You know, millions of guns sold, but we stopped 200 people. And we don't even know if they're going to commit crimes. We just stopped them. That's what we do. I mean, wow. But
oh, it's comical.
Yeah. Garland, I mean, he is such a political creature, as is everybody in DC. I mean, that's true on both sides of the aisle. But my goodness, I mean, what they're doing here is so blatantly in your face. Again, right before an election cycle, we've been told for the last 3.5 years, Biden has stopped violent crime. It's coming down. There's nothing going on at the border. Not even one illegal immigrant has come across the border in the last 3.5 years. It's all right-wing talking points. It's all BS. Oh, by the way, we got to do something to stop the flow of immigrants coming over the border, and we're going to do everything we can now to bring violent crime down the U.S. 6 months before an election. I mean,
hey, can I make a note on that? You know what I love about that? It was an amazing tail end to that. When they tried to make the Republicans take the fall for the immigration bill not going through, and that has like completely fizzled out, and it just flat out did not
Right.
work, and now immigration is still kicking him right in the gonads. I would just like to
But that's
throw that out there. I
That's
love that
because,
so much.
people actually, a few of the media organizations out there actually read the contents of the law and why nobody voted for it. Because all it would do, in essence, is expedite the illegal immigration process.
Exactly.
It wasn't going to slow or
such a
stop
game.
it. It was going to expedite it so people could flow more freely. And that's why it was voted against. But anyway, that's a different subject for a different time, folks. Thank you for watching Second Legacy, and we'll talk to you guys soon.